Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to ITV News. This is Thursday night's calendar and here are tonight's main stories. But first tonight, the pub industry has urged the Prime Minister not to leave them in limbo and let them know by tomorrow if they can definitely open next month. The hospitality and leisure industries are due to reopen in just over 2 weeks, although restaurants and hotels are still waiting for clear guidelines from the government. Well, despite the uncertainty, many businesses are working on how they can safely operate once they open their doors. David Hurst reports. Well, also after a lifeline is a multi-billion-pound industry that's crucial for thousands of jobs in the region. That's the static caravan manufacturing business. Well, Sally Simpson is... So what is the latest from the government on all this? Well, our political correspondent, Harry, thank you. Well, next, older people across the region who, despite being asked to stay at home, are forming new friendships in a bid to combat lockdown loneliness. Well, with organisations reporting an increase in isolation, Victoria Whittam has been hearing about 3 schemes where social distancing hasn't prevented social contact. Well, a short time ago, I spoke to Dame Esther Ranson, who founded Silverline, a support line for the elderly, who share a fear not only for their physical health in the pandemic, but how lockdown is affecting them mentally. I started by asking her how the organisation can help practically. I know that you knew. I just wondered what your thoughts are today on her passing. Well, still to come on the programme this evening. Now, the latest coronavirus figures have been announced this afternoon. The latest number of UK. More of the day's news, and a man has appeared in court charged with 2 counts of publishing statements encouraging terrorism following an incident in Hull. The Chief Constable of Lincolnshire Police has called on the government to provide more funding to lift the force off the bottom of the pile after announcing that he will leave his job at the end of the year. Now, football was back yesterday and the first match wasn't without incident. Sheffield United's game at Aston Villa began with a minute's silence for all those who've lost their lives in the coronavirus pandemic before a show of unity from everyone inside the ground taking the knee in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. The game itself was shrouded in controversy. Chris Dawkes was watching for us. Well, a little earlier I spoke to an old friend of our programme and a former Sheffield United player, Chris Kamara, and I asked him what his response was to the symbolic gesture at the start of last night's game. Wasn't it? But on to the football itself, you're able to watch live football for the first time in many months. What was that like for you? What was the experience like? Now, earlier in the programme, we heard how isolation is still affecting many of us with lockdown rules still in place. So we thought it'd be a good chance to remind ourselves of what the latest information is. Here's Derek Johnson. Kevin Ashford there. So that means that many grandparents are still longing to see their grandchildren after 12 weeks of lockdown, meaning many still have no idea when that will be. Well, Matt Price reports now on how families are finding ways to keep in touch. Well, time for the weather now with John.
Yes, indeed.
And you can see more of those red arrow shots on our website, itv.com/calendar. But John's here now with the full forecast. John, thanks very much indeed. That's it from us. I'll be back with our next update at 10:30. The national and international stories are coming up next with Mary Nightingale. But for now, from all the team here on Calendar, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.